Government contributes just over $2 million in aid to assist some islands affected by Hurricane Irma. A warning to stay away from countries severely affected by Irma as the U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Tourism assesses the full impact on its territories, and a $30,000 injection from Rotary for the literacy program at 21 primary schools. I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. We'll be back with the details after this. First up, the government of Dominica will provide $2.3 million in immediate assistance to some islands affected following the recent passage of Hurricane Irma. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt addressed a press conference on Monday following a weekend tour of some of the affected islands. The Category 5 hurricane struck a number of Leeward Islands, including Barbuda, Anguilla, French and Dutch St. Martin, and the British Virgin Islands before moving on to the Greater Antilles, then on to the United States. It is leaving behind billions of dollars in damage to property, and there have been 34 reported deaths in the Caribbean. The Prime Minister also held a weekend meeting with his fellow CARICOM leaders to coordinate the relief response. He informed them of Dominica's intention to supply bulk water via barges.
We've made, the Cabinet has made certain contribution to the various countries affected. In respect to Antigua, we're making a direct financial contribution of $250,000 US. To St. Kitts and Nevis, 500,000 EC dollars. To St. Thomas, 200,000 US. And to Cuba, who's been affected over the weekend, 250,000 US to assist these governments with their relief efforts and assisting the citizens who were affected by the tropical storm.
Skerritt, who is also chairman of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank's Monetary Council, said it approved financial support to member countries affected.
As chairman of the Monetary Council, I suggested to the Council of Ministers, that a contribution be made to the countries within the currency union. Financial contribution be made to assist these countries in responding to the disaster. So the Council has accepted that suggestion and approved $1 million EC dollars to Antigua and Barbuda, $1 million EC dollars to Anguilla, and $250,000 to St. Kitts and Nevis to assist them in response to this storm.
Disaster risk management consultant Cecil Shillingford said government is working with the private sector to provide assistance. He added that the immediate needs of those affected include water and dried goods.
So what we are doing right now is we're working with the private sector, with Dexia, so that we can move at least 4 containers of relief supplies and water to the islands of St. Martin. 2 containers, 1 water, 1 dried goods. Anguilla, 1 mixed with water and dry goods, and Tortola and the BVIs, 1 mix with water and dried goods. This is just the initial shipment. For that shipment, we are looking specifically at food ready to eat for the dried goods.
The deadline for donating relief supplies for Dutch St. Martin is 4:30 on Tuesday, September 12. In other news now, people intending on traveling to neighboring countries badly hit by Hurricane Irma are being discouraged from doing so.
The U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Tourism is conducting a full assessment on the impact in its territories. St. Croix is getting back to business as it was spared the brunt of Hurricane Irma, but USVI's Commissioner of Tourism, Beverly Nicholson-Doty, said they are requesting postponement of all scheduled visits to the districts of St. Thomas and St. John to ensure everyone's safety. The Cyril E. King Airport on St. Thomas was damaged with its runways blocked with debris, although military shipments of relief supplies and personnel are underway. The Henry E. Rolson Airport on St. Croix received its first commercial flight, JetBlue Airways, from San Juan on Friday and continues to welcome passenger flights. In Anguilla, the airport runway is serviceable only for emergency flights. St. Martin's Princess Juliana Airport was battered by the passage of Irma last week. That country's tourism director, Rolando Bryson, said commercial flights could resume in a week's time. He spoke to Johnson John Rose of the Caribbean Tourism Organization.
Our best case scenario would be for the airport to be able to accept commercial flights within a week. We are hoping that the airport is going to be able to make some sort of exceptions for commercial airlines that are doing flights for relief purposes. Perhaps that is something that might be able to happen. We understand, like I mentioned earlier, Caribbean Airlines, Copa, Sunwing, Seabourn Airlines, they are all ready and willing to come in. Winair, our local airline, actually has some aircraft currently in St. Vincent waiting to try to get in. Winner Express is another charter company that has aircrafts in Anguilla and also has aircraft in St. Lucia. So everyone's just waiting to come back home and see how they can help.
St. Martin, like St. Thomas and Barbuda, are under a state of emergency with a curfew in effect for St. Thomas and St. Martin. Both countries have a large Dominican population. Several stranded visitors to the islands, primarily U.S. citizens, were evacuated over the weekend through assistance by Puerto Rico government.
It's, to be very frank, it's pretty bad. You know, a lot of buildings were hurt very hard. A lot of roads are still inaccessible. So the airport was very badly damaged. The port did seem to hold up very well, fortunately. And the airport is already busy being cleaned up and trying to get that online so that we can accept relief and get people back home and so on. So in other words, we went through a very difficult time and we're trying to find any way that we can to recover.
Meantime, the Portsmouth-based Lovely Fast Ferries has announced that it will travel to French St. Martin this Thursday to transport passengers to Dominica from the Gallis Bay port. Idona John Baptist, Channel 5 News.
Right here at home, owner of the ferry Lovely One says he's open to assisting in the aftermath of the impact of Hurricane Irma on Barbuda, where 90% of homes were destroyed. Barbuda took a direct hit from Hurricane Irma last week, leaving authorities no choice but to impose mandatory evacuation of all citizens from Barbuda to Antigua. Prime Minister Skerritt has also visited Barbuda and pledged support to the island. Channel 5 News understands there is a willingness by individuals in Portsmouth to ship emergency relief supplies to those affected by Irma in Barbuda, but it appears the details of such a plan are still being worked out. Channel 5 News spoke to one individual from Portsmouth who is well placed to assist in such a venture.
I should have been there just before Jose. Jose is Irma first and Jose. And I should have been there assisting Anguillans to get to Barbudans to get to Antigua just after Irma. But I found that was just too dangerous. It might have been my delight when I was younger, you know, to play with the waves and ball and scream and jump. But I think I had to get away from it. So I went to St. Lucia for safe haven. And now I am on my way back to Montserrat. So I suppose tomorrow morning I'll be going Montserrat, Antigua, maybe twice tomorrow, and stay in Montserrat tomorrow evening if the weather is good, or maybe opt to go back to Antigua for the night if the weather is too bad.
Mr. Wade, who is now over 70, has been involved in shipping for over 60 years. And the literacy program at 21 primary schools around the island will see a significant enhancement thanks to an over $30,000 donation by the Rotary Club of Dominica. President of the Rotary Club, Ilma Irish, explained that post-tropical storm Erica, the club received a major support from the Anglican Church, and this has helped propel its mission to raise the literacy standard among primary school children.
In 2016, post-TS Erica, the Rotary Club of Dominica received a donation of 34,000 EC, or $12,500 US, from the Anglican Church Relief Fund towards the club library rehabilitation project. At that time, funds were already received or identified for the Petit Savant multipurpose room and the Coolibistry and Campbell School libraries. As a result, a decision was taken to purchase library material with the funds to assist more schools.
The Ministry of Education and the American NGO Hands Across the Sea played an integral role by conducting a needs assessment to determine which school libraries needed assistance.
At the end of the exercise, 21 schools were identified as needing assistance based on the size of the school and their current library stock. Hands Across the Sea purchased the books at 50 to 60% of the regular price from a range of sources. I am happy to report that a total of 24,515 books were purchased, and these books are in the process of being cleared from the port.
The donation of reading material is not the only activity being undertaken by the Rotary Club to help enhance the reading environment at various schools.
The Rotary Club of Dominica also undertook to refurbish, furnish, and stock a brand new library for the Mont Prosper School because none existed there. The club also funded some repainting and recarpeting works at the libraries of Clifton and W.S. Stevens primary schools.
2 of the club's literacy projects were launched over the weekend as it observes September as Rotary International New Generation and Literacy Month. You are watching Channel 5 News. We'll continue with the news after the break.
The government of Dominica, Discover Dominica Authority and Digicel invite the world to the most unique and indigenous celebration of Creole cultures, the World Creole Music Festival, October 27th, 28th and 29th at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium, Roseau, Dominica, featuring Marshall Montano, Movado, Sweet Mickey, Itana, Roman Virgo, Class, Yemi Alade, Kai, Zuko Stars, Bunji and Fayan, Triple K International, Asa Banton and more. Visit the DominicaFestivals.com for more information. Say Mizikanu!
Thank you for staying with us, and based on the preliminary results coming out of the elections, the town council elections in Portsmouth on Monday, the information we have so far indicates that the team of Titus Francis lost the Portsmouth ward, but they did win the Lagon ward. There were, as far as we know, 9 rejected ballots. The further details on that will be provided in our next newscast, as there will be another count tomorrow morning or Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock at the Portsmouth police station. Meantime, candidate for town council election in Portsmouth, Titus Francis, explains why Monday's contest was mainly in Lagon and Portsmouth wards. Residents of Portsmouth went to the polls Monday to elect a new town council. Polling opened at 7 in the morning and was due to end at 5 in the afternoon. There are 4 wards making up the Portsmouth municipality: Glenvilla, Zicac, Portsmouth and Lagon. Mr. Francis says only 2 candidates were nominated on nomination day in the Glenvilla and Zicac wards, and that means these individuals are automatically elected.
In fact, they are elected because they were not challenged, the nominations were not challenged. In the Portsmouth ward, you have 4 people competing, and in Lagon, you have 3 people. So as a result of that, you will only have elections in the Portsmouth and Lagon wards. There are 4 people, and in Lagon, like I said, there are 3. Their names would appear on the ballot. But in Zicac and Glenvilla, there's no need for an election because there's no need to print a ballot because only those 2 people have presented themselves, so they have automatically qualified to sit on the council.
Speaking to Channel 5 News before polls closed on Monday, Francis said it's a learning opportunity for many residents in terms of how they can participate in the affairs of their town.
People are saying now that they were not aware that the voters list for the general elections, which is like for national elections, is the same voters list that is used for local government election, you know. So people saying, but I not registered to vote for town council, but my name on the list. So we have to explain to them it is the same list. So irrespective of what happens, this is an education process, and that is something we think we have to sensitize people about very, very much. And more than that, they need to take part in the municipality and the events and activities. And one of the best ways you can do that is to register your support for or against a candidate.
Francis enlightened us on the process which is expected to follow Monday's election.
You will have 8 elected councillors, and we need to understand that because sometimes people are confused. And interestingly, because you have 4 wards, well, in fact 2 wards now because that's where the election is, no one person can top the election. You can top the poll in your ward, all right? But you don't, unlike a village council where is a single vote, so to speak. So out of that now, government will nominate 5 persons, and the council constitute 13 councillors, 8 elected and 5 nominated. Everybody, each one of the 13, any one of those 13 people can be the mayor, because the 13 people meet and they nominate from among themselves who they believe should be. And it's not mayor. The way it is, you are the chairman of the council. Like every organization, there's a chairman. So the 13 people come together, they elect a chairman, and the chairman earns the title of mayor. So you're not contesting the election to be mayor. You contest in the election to be a candidate, a councillor. And then the 13 people come together and elect a chairman, and the chairman carries the title of mayor.
Monday's preliminary count is to be followed by a final count at the Portsmouth police station from 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning. And the country's move towards providing quality education for special needs children is seeing the light of day, as teachers will soon be identified to pursue studies to help meet this national goal. The word from Minister for Education Peter Saint-Jean when he addressed a principals' meeting on Friday to mark the start of the 2017-2018 academic year. Ahead of the presentation of the national budget in July, Prime Minister Skerrit had announced that particular focus would be placed on creating an atmosphere for special needs children to benefit from the education system. Education Minister Saint-Jean revealed that the process is already in place to select teachers for this special needs training.
And we have already put plans in place that will help us to identify teachers who are most suitable for further studies in special education and place these teachers in universities within the coming months. Through its Special Education Office, the Ministry of Education has had a steady hand in identifying students with special needs and providing intervention and support. However, the government recognized the need to upgrade and increase the services provided, and therefore, allocations in the most recent budget will meet a growing need to improve on these services for children with special education needs, integrating them into the regular school as far as practically possible.
The minister also announced that in the ministry's effort to staff schools with qualified teachers, a special course is being offered at the Dominica State College for those in the teaching profession.
The Ministry of Education has collaborated with the Dominica State College to provide our graduate teachers who are without formal teacher training with the opportunity to enroll in a postgraduate diploma program and thereby become trained teachers.
And on the topic of broadening the spectrum of trained teachers on island, 40 teachers will be qualified as CVQ Caribbean Vocational Qualification Assessors by October this year. That's news. Next up, your sports highlights with Kenny Williams.
We kick off with football because Promex Harlem United came from the weekend unscathed when they kept their perfect form intact this season with a recent win against Petro Caribe Point Michel. Taking a look at the weekend games, on Sunday, Harlem came from behind twice to eventually defeat Point Michel 3-2 at the Geneva grounds in Granby, recording their third consecutive win from 3 games. Errol Blaise, Cordell Joseph, and Randolph Peltier did the damage for Harlem, while Bert Casimir netted for Point Michel. Over at Dublin, Middleham United came from being 2 goals down to beat defending champion Central Cooperative Credit Union Dublin Football Club 4-2. Kimon John Baptist scored twice for Middleham, with Shaquem Gregoire and Kurt Parlour adding 1 each. Allington Fritz and Sherkel St. Marie scored for Dublin. Saturday's game saw Bathurst State Football Club in with their first win of the season, complements a 3-1 victory over Kelvadaru Exodus Football Club at Dublin. Nigel Sanderson, Ben Alexander, and Curlson Benjamin did the scoring for Bathurst State. Ashwan Hill netted for Exodus. Meantime, at Benjamin's Park on the same day, Northern Concrete and Steel Bombers had slowed down their winning streak a bit with a 1-1 draw against Sagicor Southeast. Javid George scored for Southeast, while Jamie Parlour scored for Bombers. And on Friday, newly promoted Belfast Limited Marosoka Strikers celebrated their first win from 3 matches played with a 4-2 win over Wacky Rollers at Dublin Playing Field. Brad John Baptist scored a brace for Maho, while Nick Anthony and Dylan Augustine netted 1 apiece. Wacky's goal came from Dion Dinard and Sean Joseph. Next up, despite the fighting spirit of the West Indies, England went on to beat the visiting team by 9 wickets with a career-best performance by James Anderson in the 3rd test on Saturday. Recapping the highlights, West Indies won the toss and batted first to score 123 and 177, while England scored 194 and 107 for 1, targeting 107. The Windies' top performer with the bat in that match was Shai Hope 62 in the 2nd innings. Kemar Roach finished with 5 in the bag, while Jason Holder got 4. Ben Stokes was England's top scorer in that encounter with 60 in the 1st innings. James Anderson had a 9-wicket haul, including 7 in the 2nd innings. Ben Stokes bagged 6 wickets in that match. Meantime, West Indies captain Jason Holder says despite the loss, he is proud of his team.
I think we've got a lot to be proud of. I think the credit must really go to the bowlers. After the Headingley Test match, we asked for another big effort. The way we came out in the 1st innings and we bowled, I think at the start of this Test match, if we said we were going to get England up for 170, we would have taken that. And obviously Shea was outstanding in this entire series. And we must not forget Craig's contribution as well. I think Craig really did a hell of a job, especially in Headingley. Unfortunately, we didn't get more batsmen to carry on.
The Windies' next assignment will be against Ireland in an only 1-day international on Wednesday. Still in cricket, we can tell you that St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots did not perform when it mattered most, and as a result, Trinbago Knight Riders was crowned the 2017 Premier League champions on Sunday. In a low-scoring thriller, Patriots seemed to have been in charge, scoring 135 runs for the loss of 6 wickets. Wickets fell at regular intervals in the start, but it was Carlos Brathwaite and Mohamed Nabi's crucial partnership of 48 runs that helped push Patriots' score up. Set an achievable 136 for victory, Knight Riders' opening batsmen's stay at the crease was short-lived. However, in the crucial moments of the game, it was Kevin Cooper who capitalized on poor bowling from Patriots in a dramatic 7-ball sequence to clinch victory with an over to spare. It was the Knight Riders' 2nd CPL title in 3 years and the first since they changed their name from Trinidad and Tobago Red Steel. Knight Riders won that match by 6 wickets. Meantime, match hero Kevin Cooper says the win was a special one for him.
When I saw them set the field, I know they were bowling to my strengths, like hitting the ball over cover, so I was comfortable with that. And I was just telling Ramden, if we can get 17 in this over, we'll have a great chance of winning. But I just happened to score more than 17 in that over. As I told Bravo, it's been a while I've been making runs with the bat, and what a night, what a day, what a game to come out, and such a great performance of my team. This win is very special to me. I've been with this franchise 5 years, and it's been a long road for us, so thank God.
Meantime, captain of the Patriots side, Christopher Gale, or as he is commonly known, Chris Gale, says the conditions were not favorable towards the end.
The Duke came into play. The ball was very, very wet, so you had to use a fast bowler there. Cottrell, bowled one, and that last ball actually gave them the momentum where Cooper hit for 6, and then actually, they went berserk there in Ben Ilfano's over. But like I said, I'm not going to point any fingers to anyone. We'll win as a team, we'll lose as a team. Hope that this franchise actually take this move forward, from here, and try and build on this. It's a great young team as well.
That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us next time.
It's time now for us to take a look at your weather update.
Good evening. Welcome to the weather report and forecast. I'm Viola Pascal. A tropical wave affected the island chain overnight and throughout today. The infrared satellite imagery indicated multi-layered clouds mainly across the southern portion of the island chain in association with that tropical wave. The visible satellite imagery showed generally cloudy conditions across the windwards. However, across Dominica, it was partly cloudy to cloudy throughout most of today. Radar imagery indicated some scattered showers across Dominica. However, most of the shower activity was across the Windward Islands, also generated by that tropical wave. For tonight, expect partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy skies with some scattered showers. Similar conditions can be expected tomorrow, with a chance of isolated thunderstorms. For the marine forecast, seas are expected to be moderate, with waves peaking near 7 feet. Small craft operators and sea bathers should continue to exercise caution. Over the next 3 days, expect partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy skies with some scattered showers and a chance of isolated thunderstorms as we get into the afternoon. Some light winds can be expected on Thursday. Across the Caribbean, expect partly cloudy skies with a few scattered showers across the northern portion of the island chain. However, across the windwards, expect mostly cloudy skies with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. For the international cities forecast, expect partly cloudy skies in New York, Miami, and London, clear skies in Beijing, and thunder showers in Caracas. The sun will rise at 5:53 a.m. and set at 6:09 p.m. For further information, call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit the website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing. Do have a good evening.
To end the news, the headlines again. Government contributes just over $2 million in aid to assist some islands affected by Hurricane Irma. A warning to stay away from countries severely affected by Irma as the U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Tourism assesses the full impact on its territories. And a $30,000 injection from Rotary for the literacy program at 21 primary schools. Feel free to contact us at news@MarpinNews11thSept2K17. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. To our viewers around the world, thank you for watching.